because that's the sound of the white folk. For Erica Lamcourt. I say it right? Oh shit, all right.
All right, hey everybody. Glad to see all my friends here, all 5 of them. Thank you for showing up. But yeah, so like I said a little bit ago, I'm Erica from North Shore, or as you might pronounce it, Haleiwa. That's also accurate. So yeah, I don't know, how many of y'all been up to North Shore? You know how far it is? Yeah, it's pretty freaking far. So for those that haven't, it's about an hour drive, which in Hawaii is just, or on Oahu is just, you know, that's the other side of the world. You invite somebody to something and you're like, oh yeah, come over, we'll do barbecue. Yeah, I live on North Shore. Oh, I don't know if I can make it. But yeah, so we packed up the kids. We had everybody go to the bathroom. We got snacks. We filled up the tank. 14,534 whole potholes later, we are here. We made it. So, you know, I don't know if you've been past Schofield Barracks recently, but there are potholes so big over there, you fall in, you're never seen again. Your car hits it, you go in and it's thunk, and you pray nothing falls off. You try to look in the back for parts, you're apologizing. I'm so sorry, baby, I'm so sorry. Like your car can hear you, but, you know, I tell you, you do a job right once, you have a job well done. If you do it half-assed over and over again, the state hires you and they put you on road crew. So that's exactly how that works. But yeah, so I'm actually from Louisville, Kentucky. You'll be happy to know. So yeah, and Jackie, my girl, she's from Kentucky as well, right outside of Louisville. But so yeah, it's a home of fast horses and beautiful women. Kentucky Derby is ran there, but depending on what end of town you're in, you might know it as the place famous for fast women and beautiful horses. So that's the Halle girls he was referring to. That's my people, it's my tribe. But yeah, the Army brought me out here, but I retired from the military a couple years ago, and now I'm a realtor. Yay, my realtor crews. Woo! Yeah, my girls are here. I know everybody on island's a realtor, right? So you throw a rock up in a tree and like 5 of us fall out. Like, you want to buy a house? I got like 5. I got that good shit. Just come over. You know, don't look at her. You want my house? My house is better. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't realize that being a realtor was such a hated profession. So I was helping one of my clients renovate their unit. They weren't here yet, right? So I'm upstairs and the guys are tearing up the floor and it's really freaking loud. So I go downstairs and I see an old uncle working in the yard, and this dude's got to be pushing 100. He is older than dirt. So I walk over and I'm like, hey uncle, how's it going? He's like a little Filipino looking guy. And he's like, oh, you know, I said, I'm the realtor for upstairs. Here's my card. If there's any issues, you give me a call, okay? He's like, oh yeah, it's too noisy. I don't like it. I'm like, well, they'll be done really soon. I was like, and the guy who owns the condo is a single Navy guy, no kids, no dogs. I'm trying to sell it, right? Like, it's gonna be so quiet. He's just gonna be at work. He's gonna be on a ship. It's gonna be quiet. And he's like, well, I don't like the renovations. I already complained to the board. And I'm like, shit, because, you know, of course we didn't get permits. Hawaii, nobody does that. You know, I didn't ask permission. I'm trying to get it done before they even noticed I was there. So I'd look at this uncle and I'm like, okay, you know, we got to get this done. He's like, well, it's just not a good time. And I'm thinking maybe his dog is sick. You know, he's 90s. He's got some stuff going on. And I'm like, well, when would be a good time? You know, just feel like, act like I care a little bit. And he's like, oh, when I'm dead. Like, he looks me right in my face and says this, when I'm dead. And I say, well, I don't think that's going to work, but I really do appreciate you telling me that. So yeah, as my realtor friends know, one of the things that we do when we're representing buyers is explain to them how to get out of a contract if they decide they don't want the home. So there are these periods called contingencies. So I'm explaining to one of my clients, like, oh, there's the J1 contingency for inspection, or there's HOA documents and blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking about, and they're like, so what if we want to pull out of the contract after all the contingencies have expired? And I'm, you know, I kind of have a dirty mind. So I'm like, well, you can pull out of the contract, but it's kind of like pulling out after she's pregnant if you pull out after the contingencies. It doesn't work that well. Now, you can get out of it, but it is going to be painful and it's going to cost you. So yeah, but I always take care of my clients. The Army's, you know, like I said, I was in the Army for a very long time, 23 years. Yeah, thanks. I know I got my Marine retirees, my other Army retirees. Love you guys. What? It's my people. But I always describe the military as the Hunger Games. I would not have made a good recruiter, because I would always tell people, military's like the Hunger Games. If you survive, it's a really good deal. You get housing benefits, you get like all kind of stuff. You get education, all that good stuff. And if you don't like your contract, once again, You can pull out, but it's probably going to cost you, and it's going to be very painful. So, all right. So, do I have any single people in here? Is everybody married? Look, you know, single people, y'all be like, what? So the fact that y'all must be coupled up. All right. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what it's like for dudes when you're dating, but you know, being a female that dated quite a bit before I was married and looking for that right guy, you know, you're dating and then you meet a guy you really like and you're like, oh yes, we're gonna wait, right? We're gonna wait. And some dudes are like always trying to get in your pants and they don't want to wait. And so you're like, you know, it's kind of annoying. Look, my husband's over there smiling, right? We know which one he was. But yeah, so we're trying to wait and do all this good stuff. Well, then, you know, I met this guy and he wanted to wait. And I was like, yes. So we're waiting a little while. And then finally, can't wait no more, right? Get down to brass tacks, start making out, pants come off. And I'm like, shit. You know, now I know why he wanted to wait. He wanted me to like him first. Because it was bad, y'all. Like, it was like Vienna sausage, maybe. It was so bad that homeboy should have been allowed to, he should have got a handicap placard. Because if your dick is that little, you should be able to park really close to the entrance of the mall, of the grocery store. Like, that's the least that society can do for you. Because you are just literally not fucked the rest of your life. Like, nobody wants that. So it's like Christmas. It's like shitty Christmas. But, all right, so my husband is here, so telling like the marriage jokes is a little weird, but, so yeah, so, you know, I'm an open book for anybody that knows me, so we've been married for 16 years, I think, right? 16? I forget, okay. Longer than it feels and it is, I guess. But yeah, so, you know, for a little bit, we were getting kind of tired of each other, so we had some issues, so we separated for a little while. He was living in his little house, I was living in mine. And then, you know, you got all these social media profiles. It's like, well, I want people to know, but I don't want people to know too much. I'm trying to figure out my relationship status. So I was like, you know what? I'm looking at it. I'm like, he's full of shit. I'm full of shit. I'm not moving. He's not moving. We're not going to do nothing. Basically, our relationship status is constipated. So that's what we were for a little while. And then once again, with the marriage, you've been married 16 years. You can always pull out of it. But it's going to cost you. And it's going to be painful. We have this theory that we've said for a long time called the away theory. Now, Jackie likes this one. Some of my friends have heard my jokes before, but basically the away theory is the first couple years that you're dating someone, you're just like so in love with them. And one of my friends, Lindsay, says, oh, I peed on him. He's mine. And I'm like, nobody like wants him but you. But that's great. Like, you know, good on you. So the first couple years, you're scared to death someone's going to take him away. And after that, you're like, would you please go the fuck away? Like, I need a break. But yeah, so the other day, this is a little embarrassing, but it's pretty funny. The other day, Jason was in the shower, that's his name, and I was sitting there trying to set up a showing, because I had to do showings in the morning, right? So I was sitting there trying to set up showings on showing time, and somebody didn't respond, and I'm trying to call, and it's like 8 a.m., and I'm like, I really want to go get in the shower with him, right? You know, because we're married, and we can do that, it's legal. And so I'm trying to get in the shower, and I didn't get done with, like, my work stuff in time. And so he's already out of the shower, and I'm like, well, hell, you know, I don't know if your husband's anything like mine, but he's always ready to go all day, like, let's go, like, anytime, you know. Oh, did the wind blow? Are you horny? Yeah, like, you know, I heard it might rain later. Do you want to have sex? No, not really, I'm tired, whatever. So this morning I was like, yeah, I actually do, right? So I go in the bathroom, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, just trying to get rid of this boner. I'm like, I'm getting in the shower. He's like, I was like, you want to help me go away? And he's like, yeah. So I get in the shower, the shower's running and whatever. And as soon as he gets in there, you know, it's still a little awkward, right? You don't want to just be like, hey, give me the dick. So you're like making conversation. You're like, hey, so what do you have planned today? And I'm like, oh, so I start bitching about showing time, and I start bitching about agents not answering their phone. And what do you know? His boner was gone. We took care of that. We took care of that right away. It was just done. It was just done. Whew. Yeah, so like this morning, I don't know, I think the numbers are almost worn off, but this morning my bright ass decided to do a sprint triathlon. Keep in mind, I had a hip replacement about 4.5 months ago, and I have not ran in years, and I have not exercised for more than 2 hours at a time since I was in the Army. So I think I come up with these great ideas often, and they don't always work out. But as I'm walking over to the swim, because, you know, it's like swim, and then you bike, and then you run. I don't know, you know, I guess I love torture. So, I mean, I've been married 16 years, I must, right? I got kids, all that shit. Like, just bring it on. I love things that suck. So, like, I went to do the triathlon, I'm walking across the street. Jason did it too. He loves things that suck too. That's why we're still here. But yeah, so we walk across the street, and one of the ladies has on a bicycle helmet, and I'm like, but she's got on like the little outfit like she's gonna go swim, and I'm like, okay, this is my first one, so I'm looking around like, does anybody else have their helmet? Am I missing something? Is this gonna be like Mortal Kombat swimming, or it's like water polo? If you ever had kids that play water polo, they drown each other. So I was like walking across, I'm like, hey, sis, you know you got your helmet on, right? She's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And I just left her alone. I don't even know what happened, but I stayed in the back, and this one lady, like we start swimming, she's like kicking me in the face, and I'm like, I don't really like this, and then I can't breathe, and people are like, the water splashing me, and so yeah, that really sucked. But we got out, and then we're going over the bikes, and I'm like, okay, this has got to get better, right? So then I get on the bicycle, and if you've ever swam or done surfing or anything, like a lot of water goes up your nose, right? Well, it's got to come out at some point. So you'll be like running or cycling or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're just like snot rockets. And so, you know, I did really well this morning in the triathlon. I placed. Yeah. Second to last place is still a place. So I wasn't last. I was not last. Yeah. So, but yeah, as you're going behind everyone that's ran before you, there's just like miles of boogers and spit. It's actually one of the most disgusting things you'll ever see in your life. But yeah, and then I did my part. I want everybody to know I did my part to help stave off the sea rise level, because I drank half the fucking ocean this morning. Yeah, so it took me about an hour and about 3 bottles of water to get that taste out of my mouth. It felt like high school all over. But yeah, so just thank everybody for coming all the way from North Shore tonight, and remember to always pull out on time. Woo.